Our next witness is Ron, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Mikell?
You have pronounced it correctly.
I have, good. And up next will be Ron Meisberg. Good morning, or good afternoon,
Good
Mr.
afternoon,
Mikell.
Chairman. My name is Ronald Mikell, and I stand here today representing my union, the Federal Contract Guards of America, and also at the request of colleagues up in Briarcliff Manor, New York, of the United Federation of Special Police and Security Officers. We're essentially, both of us, 9B3 unions representing guards and security professionals in this field. I appreciate the chance to speak to the board. I want you to know that I've followed all of you for years, and it's like meeting famous people. I've read Member Hayes' dissent to the new rules, and I listened with rapt attention to Mr. Kramer, and I think that you folks sitting up here in Washington, D.C., as we all are, I happen to live and work up here, but it's easy to see where you can turn 5 minutes into 22 minutes like Mr. Kramer does, and you understand the whole concept of delay in our cases. I lay some of it at your feet, Member Becker. Yes, sir, I do. First of all, I listened to Mr. Holland, in the morning session talk about the right of privacy and his concern out of California and the California Constitution and about telephone numbers and emails and how those things would be terrible in the hands of the union. It almost sounded like the arguments made against Excelsior back a few years ago. The fact is, in order to reasonably maintain the laboratory conditions and have the unions and the companies a chance to have their story told, everybody's got to have the same seat at the table. Now, in the modern era, the lack of access to cell phones and emails locks out a legitimate attempt to communicate on most issues. I have members that I represent who don't have a regular phone. All they have is a cell phone. The way people get in touch with me, whether it's my wife or my son when he's in Iraq, is he calls my cell phone with my 503 area code. Oh, and by the way, while I'm here in front of the board, I wish to commend to you the good people of the regional offices, especially the folks at Subregion 36, who really know what they're doing. Out there in the hinterland, there are a lot of people that really know what they're doing. That's one of the reasons that I like the rulemaking. You leave some of these decisions to the regional director. Now, I tell you, the whole idea of the expedited policies that and the anticipated rulemaking, and this is one of the reasons I'm very much in favor of it. Delay is the enemy of all of us. And when one of these cases, one of these R cases, achieves the patina of age, nobody has been done any good at all. Recently my union was arguing a case out of the boot of Texas, 16 RC 10929, FJC Security. We filed that in March. Yes, ma'am. It's been resolved, ma'am.
Okay,
yes,
good.
It's been resolved. I remember that.
I didn't want you to walk into any problems.
I'm not going to fly in the face of ex parte rules.
Okay.
But that case was filed around St. Patrick's Day in 2010 and resolved in June of 2011, and that was all about whether or not somebody was an appropriate part of the unit. And we had 2 or 3 before election hearings and 1 afterwards. And these rules would have kept that from happening, and the issue would have been resolved a lot sooner. Delay is the friend of the incumbent power, whether that's the incumbent union or it's the company with their authorities over these employees. In that particular case that I cited, we were arguing with the incumbent union, which eventually we threw out. But the people that we represent now in the particular locations, they wanted them out a long time ago. But because everything could be appealed all the way to the board on every single issue, on every single time, then everything that was done was delayed and delayed and delayed. Now the resolution, and I hold to what the gentleman from Connecticut had to say, is essentially that it's better to resolve these things, and resolution is what we should all be about. Now, I am not a member of the bar. I've beaten several of them at the bar in the front of the National Labor Relations Board, and that's the beauty of the NLRB. It's not necessarily set up just for some high-end, high-paid management or labor attorney, but for people who are there to express their rights and their views in front of somebody that can resolve them. And again, I hit you with the R word, resolution. If there's any doubt, let me speak quite clearly that I speak in favor of the new rules. And I've conducted several elections, and a lot of times the extra time that the good gentleman, Mr. Kranz, would want to use for the employer to speak, it's mostly used to just denigrate the union and not used to advance the point. Ad hominem arguments are no one's right. And again, I speak in favor of the rule. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. Does anyone have some questions? Is there any aspect of the rule you'd like to see improved?
That I'd like to see improved?
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, ma'am, as a unionist, I still believe in and think that there's a lot of efficacy in that Employee Free Choice Act, but I don't know that that'll ever
We're
get
not
anywhere.
here to debate that one.
I knew that that would be your answer, ma'am. But the expeditious use and the fact that all of us